dream trip turns deadly when backpackers discover they're the main attraction in a hidden world of pain. Let me explain the story first. This is a horror tale inspired by films like Hostel, where young travelers are lured into a dangerous trap in a foreign land. It's about three friends, Mike, Sarah, and Tom, who go backpacking in Eastern Europe seeking adventure and cheap thrills. They end up in a small, seemingly welcoming town called Krasno in Slovakia, but it's actually a front for an underground club where wealthy elites pay to torture and kill unsuspecting tourists. The story builds slowly with suspense, then dives into graphic horror, satirizing how people exploit others for entertainment and profit. It's realistic, no supernatural elements, just human greed and brutality. The total story will aim for around 20,000 words across 6 parts, making it detailed and immersive but somewhat dull in pacing to stretch the narrative with everyday descriptions, internal thoughts, and repetitive tensions. We'll use simple words to keep it accessible and real feeling, like a true crime account. Now, on to part 1. This part sets up the characters, their excitement, and the initial lure. It's about 3,300 words to pace toward the total. Mike sat at his desk in his small apartment in Chicago, staring at the computer screen. He was 25 with short brown hair and a beard he kept trimmed. He worked as a graphic designer, but his real passion was travel. He had been saving money for months, skipping coffees and eating cheap ramen, just to afford a big trip. His friends Sarah and Tom were in on it too. Sarah was 24, a photography student with long blonde hair and a camera always around her neck. She dreamed of capturing the world in pictures. Tom was 26, a laid-back guy who worked at a coffee shop with messy black hair and a constant smile. He just wanted to have fun and meet new people. One evening, they met at a local bar to plan. "Eastern Europe," Mike said, pulling up a map on his phone. "It's cheap, beautiful, and not too touristy." Sarah nodded, her eyes lighting up. "I can take amazing photos of old castles and mountains." Tom grinned. "And the beer is like $1 a pint." "Count me in." They spent hours researching. Flights to Budapest were affordable. From there, they could hop on buses or trains to other countries. Mike found forums online where travelers shared tips. One post caught his eye. "Hidden gems in Slovakia. Towns like Krasno offer free stays if you know the right people." It sounded too good to be true, but Mike bookmarked it. Weeks passed. They bought tickets, packed backpacks with clothes, snacks, and guidebooks. Mike's bag had a laptop for editing photos. Sarah packed extra memory cards. Tom threw in some energy bars and a deck of cards for boredom. The day came. At the airport, they hugged goodbye to family. "Be safe," Mike's mom said. "Don't talk to strangers." They laughed it off. The flight was long, 8 hours over the ocean. They watched movies and slept. Landing in Budapest felt exciting. The air was crisp, the city buzzed with energy. They took a taxi to their first hostel, a cheap place with bunk beds and shared bathrooms. That night, they explored. Budapest had bridges over the river, lights twinkling. They ate street food, sausages and bread. At a bar, they met other backpackers. "Where you headed next?" a guy from Australia asked. Mike mentioned Slovakia. "Cool, but watch out for scams," the Aussie said. They didn't think much of it. The next day, they wandered markets, buying souvenirs. Sarah snapped photos of colorful stalls. Tom tried haggling for a hat. Mike checked his phone for the next move. He remembered the forum post about Krasno. He searched more. Reviews said it was quiet, friendly, with low prices. A local named Victor posted, "Come visit." "I'll show you around," Mike messaged him. Victor replied fast, "Yes, friends." "Bus from Budapest takes 4 hours. I'll meet you." They boarded the bus. It was old, rattling over roads. Fields passed by, then hills. Other passengers were locals, carrying bags of groceries. No tourists. Sarah dozed off. Tom played games on his phone. Mike stared out the window, dreaming of adventure. Krasno appeared suddenly. A small town with stone houses, a church steeple, narrow streets. The bus stopped at a dusty square. Victor waited, a tall man in his 30s with a warm smile and jeans. "Welcome." "I'm Victor," he said, shaking hands. "You must be tired. Let me take you to the inn." The inn was old, run by an elderly woman named Marta. She had gray hair and a bun, and spoke little English. Rooms were simple, beds, a table, a window overlooking the street. "Only €5 a night," Victor said, "special for friends." They thanked him. After unpacking, they walked the town, Krasno felt frozen in time. Cobblestone paths, a few shops selling bread and cheese. People nodded hello but stared a bit too long. Sarah took pictures of the architecture. "This place is perfect," she said. Tom found a park bench and relaxed. Mike asked Victor about things to do. "Tomorrow I'll show you the lake. It's hidden beautiful. And tonight the bar, best drinks in Slovakia." Evening came. The bar was cozy, wooden tables, dim lights. Locals played cards. Victor introduced them to friends. Beers arrived, cold and foamy. "To new adventures," Mike toasted. They talked for hours. Victor shared stories of the town, old legends, wars long ago. A woman named Anna joined, pretty with dark hair. She flirted with Tom. "You Americans are fun," she said. Sarah felt a twinge of unease, something about the way people watched them. But the alcohol warmed her. They laughed, shared jokes. Midnight came. Stumbling back to the inn, they felt happy. "This is the life," Tom slurred. In bed, Mike thought, best decision ever. Little did they know, eyes followed them from the shadows. The morning after their arrival, Mike woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside the inn's thin window. The sun filtered through dusty curtains, casting long shadows on the wooden floor. His head ached a little from the beers the night before, but nothing too bad. He sat up in bed, stretching his arms. The room was small, shared with Tom, who was still snoring softly on the other bunk. Sarah had her own room next door, girl's preference, she had said back in Budapest. Mike checked his phone. No messages from home, but the battery was at 80%. He plugged it in using the European adapter he bought at the airport. Simple things like that made travel feel real. He got dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, then knocked on Sarah's door. "Morning. Ready for breakfast?" She opened it, hair messy, camera in hand already. "Yeah, starving. That bar food was good, but I need coffee." Tom groaned from inside their room, but joined them soon. Downstairs, Marta the innkeeper had set out a basic spread: fresh bread, cheese slices, some jam in jars, and boiled eggs. It was simple homemade stuff. No fancy buffet like in big cities. Victor was there too, sipping tea. "Good sleep? Eat up. Today I show you the lake." They nodded, digging in. The bread was crusty, the cheese sharp and tangy. Tom piled jam on everything. "This beats McDonald's," he joked. Sarah snapped a photo of the table. For the memories. After eating, they stepped outside. Krasno was quiet in the morning light. A few old men sat on benches, smoking pipes. Women carried baskets to a small market stall selling vegetables. The air smelled of earth and wood smoke from chimneys. Victor led them down a path out of town, through fields of tall grass. "The lake is 2 kilometers away." "Not many know it." Mike walked beside him, asking questions. "So what's life like here?" "Jobs?" Victor shrugged. "Farming, some tourism. We keep things simple. No big factories polluting." Sarah trailed behind, photographing wildflowers and rusty fences. Tom kicked stones along the way, humming a tune from the bar. The walk took about 30 minutes. They passed abandoned barns and a stream trickling over rocks. Birds flew overhead, and once a deer darted into the woods. It felt peaceful, far from city noise. The lake appeared suddenly, a clear blue pool surrounded by trees with a small dock and a rowboat tied up. "Beautiful," Sarah whispered, zooming her lens. They spent the afternoon there. Victor brought sandwiches from town, ham and bread again, with apples. They swam in the cold water. Mike splashed Tom, who retaliated with a big wave. Sarah floated on her back, eyes closed. "This is paradise," she said. Victor watched from the shore, smiling. "See? Krasno has secrets." As they dried off, Anna showed up, the girl from the bar, carrying a picnic basket. "Victor invited me," she said, kissing Tom on the cheek like old friends. She was in shorts and a tank top, hair tied back. They ate more, talked about music and movies. Anna was 22, worked at the bar part-time. "I study English online. Want to see the world someday?" Tom flirted back, telling stories of Chicago parties. Mike noticed how Victor and Anna exchanged glances sometimes, quick ones, but he was too relaxed to care. The sun warmed their skin, and time slipped by. Sarah took group photos, everyone smiling, arms around each other. Back in town by late afternoon, they were tired but happy. Victor pointed out more spots: an old church with cracked bells, a bakery where they bought pastries filled with poppy seeds. The pastries were sweet, sticky. Marta at the inn had laundry service for €1, so they washed clothes in a basin, simple travel chores. Dinner was at the bar again. More locals joined, a farmer named Jan, a shop owner called Luca. Beers flowed, stories too. Jan talked about harsh winters, how snow buried the roads. But summer brings visitors like you. Makes us alive. Sarah asked about festivals. Oh, we have one soon. Private, but maybe you stay. The group laughed. Tom and Anna disappeared for a walk at some point, coming back flushed. Mike felt a buzz, not just from alcohol. This town was welcoming, almost too much. That night, in their rooms, they debriefed. Sarah sat on Mike's bed, legs crossed. It's weird how cheap everything is. Like, why? Mike shrugged. Small-town economics. No tourists mean low prices to attract us. Tom, brushing teeth in the shared sink, mumbled, Anna says there's a club here. Underground party spot. Sounds fun. Sarah frowned. We should be careful. Remember that Aussie in Budapest? Scams, but excitement won. They planned to stay a few more days before moving on to Bratislava. Sleep came easy, dreams of lakes and laughs. Next day repeated the pattern, dull and comforting. Breakfast with Marta, eggs again, coffee bitter but hot. Victor took them hiking up a hill. The path was muddy from recent rain, boots sinking in. Views from the top, rolling hills, distant mountains. Sarah's camera clicked nonstop. These will look great edited. Tom found berries, ate some, spit out sour ones. Victor shared history. Krasno built in 1700s, survived wars. We Slovaks are tough. Lunch was picnic style, cheese and bread carried in backpacks. Afternoon free time. Mike napped in the inn. Tom met Anna at a cafe. Sarah wandered streets alone, noting how few young people there were. Old folks mostly staring from windows. Evening brought rain, soft patter on roofs. They stayed in the bar, playing cards with locals. Victor taught them a Slovak game, betting small coins. Mike won a round, bought drinks. Anna whispered to Tom about the club again. Tomorrow night. Special invitation for travelers. Sarah overheard, felt a chill, but the warmth inside pushed it away. Talks turned personal. Mike shared about his job stress, wanting escape. Sarah about photography dreams, exhibiting one day. Tom joked about being single forever. Locals nodded, shared their own mundane lives, farming routines, family dramas. It felt real, connecting, but subtle things nagged. A scar on Victor's hand like from a knife. Jan's eyes lingering on Sarah's necklace, valuable maybe. The way doors locked early, town empty after dark. Mike brushed it off as paranoia. We're in Europe, not a movie. They stumbled to bed around midnight, rain still falling. Sarah lay awake, hearing creaks in the old inn. Was that footsteps? No, just wind. Third day, more routines. Market shopping, bread, fruits cheap as dirt. Victor drove them in his old car to a nearby village. Dirt roads bumpy. Saw a castle ruin, climbed stones. Photos, laughs. Tom and Anna held hands now. Back for dinner. Stew at the inn, meat tough but flavorful. Talks of staying longer. Why rush? Victor said. Then the invitation came formal. A card from Anna, gold edges. Club tomorrow. Dress nice. No cost for you. Excitement built. Sarah hesitated but agreed. Night ended with beers, feeling like locals. Little hints piled, a missing poster on a wall, faded, for a tourist last year. Whispers in Slovak, glances. But the dull comfort blinded them. Krasno wrapped them in its simple web. The morning of the fourth day in Krasno dawned gray, with clouds hanging low over the town. Mike woke up first again, his body adjusting to the firm mattress and the faint smell of wood polish in the room. He lay there for a minute, staring at the cracked ceiling, thinking about how relaxed he felt. No emails from work, no traffic noise, just quiet. He got up, splashed water on his face from the basin in the corner. No hot shower today. The water heater was finicky, Marta had explained with gestures. Tom stirred in the other bed, mumbling something about dreams. Anna, he said with a grin when he opened his eyes. Mike chuckled. You're smitten, man. Sarah knocked soon after, already dressed in hiking pants and a sweater. Coffee downstairs? They nodded and headed down. Marta had the usual, bread, now with some butter and slices of sausage. Victor wasn't there this time, but he had left a note. Rest today. Save energy for tonight. Club is special. Excitement buzzed between them as they ate. Tom talked nonstop about Anna, what she said, how she laughed. Sarah buttered her bread slowly, thoughtful. We don't know these people well. What if it's not safe? Mike waved it off. It's a party. Worst case, bad music. but inside he felt a tiny doubt, like an itch. They had been here 3 days. Everything fine. Why worry now? After breakfast, they decided to explore on their own. No Victor guiding them, it felt freeing. They walked the main street, past the church where bells tolled 9 times. The market was open, stalls with potatoes, onions, handmade soaps. Sarah bought a small scarf, red wool, for €2. Bargain, she said, wrapping it around her neck. Tom haggled for a bottle of local liquor, Slivovitz, plum brandy. For the club, he winked. Mike checked his phone. Still spotty signal, 1 bar. He sent a quick text to his mom. All good in Slovakia. Loving it. It didn't send right away. They wandered to the edge of town, where fields met forest. A path led in, muddy from last night's rain. Let's hike a bit, Mike suggested. The walk was dull, repetitive steps on wet dirt. Trees loomed, leaves dripping. Birds called, but no animals showed. Sarah took photos of mushrooms growing on logs, close-ups of bark textures. Tom sipped from a water bottle, complaining about bugs. Mosquitoes love me. Mike led, thinking about budgets. How much money left, next stops. An hour in, they found a clearing with an old bench. They sat, ate apples from the market, crunchy, sour. Talk turned to the club. Anna says it's in a warehouse. Lights dancing, free drinks for guests. Sarah frowned. Free? Nothing's free, Tom laughed. In Krasno, everything is. They headed back, legs tired. Lunch at the bar, soup, thick with vegetables, bread on the side. The bartender, a burly man named Peter, nodded. Big night tonight. Be careful with drinks. He said it casually, but his eyes lingered. Afternoon dragged. They napped in rooms. Mike read a guidebook, pages on Slovak history, boring facts about kings and battles. Sarah edited photos on her laptop, adjusting colors, cropping. Tom met Anna briefly outside, a quick kiss goodbye until evening. See you there, she said. Rain started again, soft on windows. They showered cold, dressed up, Mike in a button shirt, Sarah a dress from her bag, Tom jeans and a clean tee. Nervous energy built. Victor picked them up at dusk in his car, old sedan smelling of cigarettes. Ready? This club is for special people. Travelers like you. The drive was short, out of town on a gravel road. Warehouse loomed, big metal building with no signs. Cars parked outside, nice ones. Mercedes, Audis. Odd for a small town. Inside it transformed. Dim red lights, thumping bass music, a dance floor packed, bar with bottles glowing. People mixed, locals and strangers, some in suits, others casual. Anna hugged Tom right away, handed drinks, clear shots, burning throat. Welcome to paradise, she yelled over music. They danced first, awkward at start. Mike spun Sarah, laughing. Bodies pressed, sweat smell mixed with perfume. Drinks kept coming, free like promised. Victor introduced friends, a doctor named Carol, a businessman, Ivan. They love Americans. Hours blurred. Sarah stepped out for air at one point. Cool night breeze. She saw men smoking by cars, talking low in Slovak. One glanced at her scarred face. Uneasy. She went back in. Tom vanished with Anna into a crowd. Mike and Sarah danced more, shots making heads light. This is awesome, Mike shouted. But then, midnight-ish, things felt off. A back door opened, people slipping through. Curtains hid rooms. Sarah saw a girl, tourist like her, stumble out pale, helped by a local. You okay? Sarah asked. The girl muttered fine and left quick. Doubt grew. Mike found Victor. Where's Tom? With Anna, private party. Sounded fun, but Sarah's stomach twisted. They searched, pushing through dancers. Found Tom in a corner booth, dazed, eyes glassy. Hey guys. Good stuff. Anna gone. What happened? Sarah asked. Tom shrugged. Drinks, then a room. Blacked out. Bruise on his neck fresh. They decided to leave. Victor drove silent. Back it in, Tom vomited in the bathroom, heaving loud. Too much, he gasped. Sarah bandaged a cut on his arm. He didn't remember getting. Mike paced. What was that? Dawn brought hangover. Breakfast skipped. Marta stared oddly. Town felt different, people whispering. An old woman at market muttered go home in broken English when Sarah passed. Victor texted, fun night? More tomorrow. But cracks showed. Searched online in weak signal. Rumors of missing tourists in Slovakia. Small towns. Forum post, avoid Krasno. Weird vibes. Sarah's fear grew. We leave today. Bus stop, no schedules posted. Seller said, tomorrow maybe. Trapped, feeling settled, dull panic and routines. They packed anyway, walked streets waiting. Shadows lengthened. Night came uneasy. Tom's bruise darkened, memory foggy. Anna showed me a game. Then nothing. Mike scouted escape routes. Roads out, but no cars rented. Dinner at bar tents. Locals stared. Peter the bartender slipped a note. Don't trust. Leave soon. Heart raced. Back to inn, doors locked early. Whispers outside. Sleep fitful. Dreams of warehouses and scars. Next morning, 5th day, resolved to flee. But Victor knocked. One more day. Lake again? Distraction. They went, tense. Water cold, no swimming. Anna there, sweet as ever. Last night wild, sorry. Tom angry but confused. Sarah spotted something, a hidden camera in trees. Paranoia, back planned, secret exit. But evening, knock hard. Men outside. Invitation extended, refused. Doors barred. Danger real now, closing slow like fog. The 6th day in Krasno started with a heavy fog rolling in from the hills, blanketing the town in gray mist that made everything look muffled and distant. Mike woke up with a start, his heart pounding from a nightmare he couldn't quite remember, something about locked doors and echoing screams. He glanced over at Tom, who was still asleep, his face pale and the bruise on his neck now an ugly purple mark that looked like fingers had gripped too hard. Sarah was already up. He could hear her pacing in her room next door. They had whispered late into the night, deciding today they leave no matter what. No more excuses. No more Victor or Anna. They would walk if needed, hitch a ride on the main road. Mike got out of bed quietly, the floorboards creaking under his feet. He pulled on his jeans and a hoodie, stuffing his passport and wallet into a secure pocket. Simple plan, grab breakfast quick, act normal, then slip out the back while Marta was busy. He knocked softly on Sarah's door. She opened it, eyes red from lack of sleep, backpack already slung over one shoulder. I packed everything. Camera's in here, can't leave it. Tom groaned awake, rubbing his head. My stomach's killing me. Those drinks, never again. They didn't laugh. Downstairs, Marta had laid out the usual. Bread gone a bit stale, cheese with a rind, tea steaming in chipped cups. She watched them eat in silence, her wrinkled hands folding and unfolding a cloth. You leave today? She asked suddenly in her broken English. Sarah nodded too eagerly. Yes, bus or walk? Marta shook her head slowly. No bus. Fog bad. They finished fast, paid her with crumpled euros. Still cheap, 5 nights for 20 total. Outside the fog was thick, visibility down to a few meters. Streets empty, no people stirring yet. Perfect cover, Mike thought. They walked casually at first, toward the bus stop square, but veered off onto a side path Victor had shown them earlier, leading to the fields and hopefully the main highway. Backpacks bounced on their shoulders, heavy with clothes and souvenirs they now regretted buying. Sarah's camera strap dug into her neck. Tom lagged a bit, still woozy. Keep up, Mike whispered. The mud sucked at their shoes, fog dampening sounds. They walked for 20 minutes, hearts thumping. No signs of pursuit. Then a car engine rumbled behind. Victor's sedan emerged from the mist, slow and deliberate. Friends! We're going? He called out the window, smile plastered on. Anna was in the passenger seat, waving. Panic hit. Run! Mike yelled. They bolted into the fields, tall grass whipping legs. The car couldn't follow off-road, but footsteps pounded. More men, locals from town, Jan and Peter among them. Shouts in Slovak echoed. Sarah tripped on a root, scraping her knee bloody. Tom helped her up, breathing hard. Mike led them toward trees, a small woods for cover. Branches scratched faces, fog hiding paths. They hid behind a trunk, listening, voices close. They went this way. Flashlights pierced the gray. Wait, it was daytime, but fog made it like dusk. Minutes stretched dull and terrifying, crouched in dirt, bugs crawling on skin. Sarah whimpered, holding her knee. Blood soaked her pants. Tom peeked out, shadows moving. We have to move. They crept deeper, circling back toward town. No, onward. An hour of this. Slow, exhausting trek. Thirst built, no water left. Finally a road appeared, gravel crunching. Hope flag a car. But the first vehicle was a van, black, no windows. It stopped. Doors flew open. Strong arms grabbed Mike from behind, cloth over mouth, chemical smell, chloroform like in movies. He fought, kicking, but blackness took him. Sarah screamed, nailed a guy with her backpack, but a punch to her gut folded her. Tom swung wild, connected once, then tasered, jolt of electricity dropping him twitching. They woke in darkness, heads throbbing worse than any hangover. Hands tied with zip ties, mouths gagged with rags tasting of oil. The van bumped along, hours maybe. Stops, voices outside. Finally, doors opened to a basement. Cold concrete floors, metal walls, faint smell of bleach and something metallic, like blood. Guards in black clothes dragged them out, rough hands bruising arms. A big space underground, lit by harsh fluorescent bulbs humming overhead. Cells lined the walls, bars rusty. They were thrown into separate ones, Mike alone, Sarah next, Tom across. Doors clanged shut. A man entered, mid-40s, suit crisp, tie red like blood, bald head shining under lights. He spoke English with a thick accent. "Welcome properly. I am director here. Call me Mr. Carroll." He paced, shoes clicking. "You wonder what happens. Simple business," Mike yelled through the gag, muffled. Carroll removed them one by one, guards watching with batons. Sarah spat. "Let us go." "This is kidnapping." Tom groaned. "What the hell?" Carroll laughed, a dry sound. "Yes, kidnapping, but more. Krasno is special. We lure travelers, cheap stays, parties, pretty girls like Anna. Backpackers, easy prey. Alone, no one notices, gone quick." He explained slow, like a tour. The town profited. Innkeepers, bartenders, all in on it. Victor Scout and a bait. Tourists drugged at club, woken here. Why? Elite club. Rich men, women from Europe, America, Asia. They pay big, 50,000 euros per session. To hunt, to hurt, to kill. You are the game. Satire in his voice, mocking. You come for adventure? We give ultimate thrill, for them. Details poured out, dull and horrifying. The warehouse club was entrance, back rooms for preview. Underground expanded from old mines, soundproof. Bodies disposed in lake, waited. Police paid off, or part of it. No escape. "Families think lost in travel," Sarah cried, tears hot. "Why us?" Carroll shrugged. "Young, healthy. Americans fetch more. Exotic." Tom banged bars. "Monsters." Guards hit him with baton, ribs cracking audibly. They left them with water bottles, stale bread. Hours alone, echoing drips from pipes. Mike thought of plans. Picklocks with what? Nothing. Sarah whispered through bars. "We fight." But fear dulled minds. Night came. No windows, lights dimmed. Guards patrolled, shifts changing. Whispers from other cells. Faint moans, a German voice begging. Others trapped too, mourning. Artificial brought food trays slid under doors. Porridge mush. Carl returned with clipboard. "Bids coming. You, Mike, strong. Good for chase. Sarah, pretty. Popular for slow games. Tom, already bruised. Discount start." He showed photos on phone. Rich clients masked, tools laid out, knives, drills, chains. See, excitement. Revulsion hit. This was real, human evil for profit. Exploiting wanderlust, turning vacation to hell. Attempts to escape started small, dull failures. Mike bent bars, no give. Tom feigned sick, guard approached but punched instead. Sarah scratched messages on walls. Help. Useless. Days blurred. Wait, just one. Time lost. Interrogations. Tell families rich? Maybe ransom instead. Lies. Then first session teased. Dragged to viewing room. Clients watching behind glass like zoo. Prime meat, one said in English. Back to cells, shaking. The trap was total. Revelation sinking in slow horror. Victor visited once, casual. Sorry, friends, business. Anna peeked, no remorse. You were fun. Betrayal stung worse than ties. They huddled in thoughts, planning whispers. But guards watched cameras. Despair set dull weight like fog outside. The artificial lights in the basement never fully dimmed, just flickered to a low buzz that made sleep impossible. Mike lay on the cold floor of his cell, staring at the bars, his mind racing through memories of home, his apartment's messy desk, the smell of coffee brewing, weekends gaming with friends. It all felt like a different life now, distant and fake. The air was stale, mixed with the tang of rust and fear sweat from unwashed bodies. Sarah's quiet sobs echoed from her cell, soft and repetitive, like a broken record. Tom hadn't spoken much since the beating. His breathing was shallow, pained. Guards patrolled every hour, boots thudding on concrete, keys jingling. Meals came twice a day, watery soup with floating bits of carrot, bread hard as rock. They ate to survive, fingers sticky from bowls. Mr. Carroll returned on what felt like the second day underground, clipboard in hand again. Bids closed. High prices, your stars. He pointed at Tom first. You start. Client wants simple warm-up. Guards grabbed Tom, dragging him even as he kicked weakly. No, guys, help! Mike rattled his bars, yelling curses, but a baton to his knuckles silenced him. Sharp pain shooting up arms, bones maybe cracked. Sarah screamed, "Leave him!" But doors slammed, echoes fading down the hall. They took Tom to a room set up like a clinic gone wrong. Metal table with straps. Bright overhead lamps. Trays of tools gleaming, scalpels, pliers. Hammers small enough for precision. Cameras on tripods recorded everything, red lights blinking. The client was a middle-aged man from Germany, fat and balding, wearing a silk mask and expensive suit. He paid extra for privacy, but staff watched anyway. American boy. Strong, he muttered in accented English, gloved hands flexing. Guards stripped Tom naked, humiliating in the cold air, goosebumps rising. Strapped down, wrists and ankles locked. Tom begged, "Please, I have money." "Let me call my family." The German laughed, a wheezy sound. "Money, I have more. This is for fun." Started slow to prolong. First, needles, thin ones pushed under fingernails. Tom jerked, screams ripping out raw and high. Blood welled, dripping pink on the table. "Stop, God." Each finger one by one, dull pain building to fire. The client nodded approval, directing guards like a conductor. "Toenails next." Pliers gripped, yanking slow. Nails peeled off with wet pops exposing raw flesh. Tom's body arched, urine pooling under him in shame. Thoughts flashed, coffee shop shifts, flirting with customers, Anna's fake smile. Why me? The satire hit the guards. They chatted casually in Slovak, smoking breaks while this happened. Rich man's entertainment, poor man's end. Session lasted 2 hours, dull stretches of waiting between hurts. Breaks for the client to sip water, check phone. Then burns, cigarette pressed to thighs, skin sizzling, smell of meat. Blisters rose, popping when poked. Tom passed out once, cold water splashed to wake. No sleep yet. Finally cuts, shallow slices on arms, salt rubbed merciless. Blood flowed steady, staining sheets. "Enough for today," the German said, satisfied. Tom dragged back, barely conscious, wounds bandaged loosely to prevent quick death. Thrown in cell, he curled fetal, whimpering. "It hurts. Everything." Sarah reached through bars, holding his hand. Mike vowed silent revenge, fists clenched despite pain. Sarah's turn came next day. Lights brightened as signal. Guards hauled her out, dress torn from struggles. She fought harder, nails scratching a face, drawing blood. "Bitch!" the guard snarled, backhand splitting her lip. Room same, but client different. A woman from Russia, elegant in pearls, mask hiding Botox face. "Pretty girl. I like screams." Sarah strapped, clothes cut off with scissors, exposed and shivering. Vulnerability hit hard. Thoughts of photography classes, safe campus, parents' hugs. The woman started with hair, yanking chunks out by roots, scalp tearing, bloody patches left. Sarah cried, "Why?" "What did I do?" "Nothing." "That's the point. You exist for this." Pliers on teeth next, twisting a molar slow, crack of enamel, then pull. Blood-filled mouth, choking coughs. Tooth dropped, tinkling on tray. Pain radiated jaw to skull, dull throb endless. The woman hummed a tune, casual as shopping. Satirizing exploitation. She talked business on phone mid-session. "Yes, darling, buy the stock," while drilling small holes in Sarah's shoulder. Not deep, just bone-grinding agony. Screams echoed, raw throat tearing. Breaks for makeup touch-ups, mirror check. Then waterboarding light. Cloth over face, pouring water slow, drowning feel without death. Panic surges, lungs burning. Sarah gasped air when lifted, vomit mixing water. Fingers broken one by one, snaps like twigs, swelling purple. "For the photos you love, now can't hold camera." Cruel joke. 3 hours of this, stretched with weights. Guards bet on how long till faint. Sarah back to cell, fingers splinted wrong, head bald in spots, spit blood. "I can't anymore," she whispered. Tom comforted weak. "Fight." Mike's anger boiled, plotting. Noticed guard's key ring loose once. Mike last that cycle. His client, American ironically, tech billionaire type, young and smug. "Fellow countrymen, let's make it personal." Table cold on back, straps biting. Started with electricity, wires clipped to nipples, toes, genitals. Shocks low at first, muscles jumping involuntary. "Dance for me." Amps up, burning inside, heart stuttering. Mike gritted teeth. "Fuck you." Laughter. Thoughts. Design jobs. Screens glow. Now this real pain. Punches to gut. Ribs cracking more. Dull impacts. Breath knocked out repetitive. Knuckles split on face. Then knives. Carving initials on chest. Shallow but bleeding. Salt again. Alcohol pour stinging open wounds. The billionaire filmed selfie. Best vacation ever. Satire thick. Complained about Wi-Fi weak underground while sawing a toe partly off. Blood sprayed. Mike roared. Hours dragged. Hydration breaks forced. Back to cell mangled. Toe wrapped. Vision blurry from head hits. Days merged after. Recovery dull. Infections starting. Fevers, pus and wounds. More clients rotated. Groups sharing, betting on endurance. One used acid drops on skin. Bubbling flesh slow. Smell acrid. Another bones. Hammering knees till swell. Walking impossible later. Psychological too. Played family voices fake on speakers. We miss you. Twisting knife. Attempts resist. Mike spat blood once, earned extra shocks. Sarah bit a guard, tooth knocked for it. Tom weakened most. Infections raging, begging water. Whispers between cells kept sane. Plans, memories. Remember Budapest lights? Sarah said. But pain dulled words. Elites cruelty casual. Lunch breaks, chats about stocks, yachts, while victims broke. Exploitation bare. Poor lured rich play god. Bodies tools for profit, Carol counting euros. Escape thoughts faded in agony waves. But a spark. Loose screw in Mike's cell floor. Pride slow with nail. Hope thin, but there. Sessions continued, unflinching brutality and simple concrete hell. The pain had become a constant hum in their bodies, like a machine that never shut off. Dull throbs in broken bones, sharp stings from infected cuts, fevers that came and went in waves. Mike's toe was swollen black now, pus oozing through the dirty bandage, the smell turning his stomach every time he shifted on the cell floor. He hadn't slept properly in what felt like a week, though time was a guest down here. Lights on for day, dim for night, meals irregular. Sarah's scalp itched where hair was torn, her fingers bent at wrong angles, useless for anything but clawing weakly at the walls. She whispered prayers sometimes, voice hoarse from screaming. Tom was worst. Fever burned him hot, his leg wounds gangrene starting, green tint under skin. Water. Please, he'd mutter in delirium, thinking of home faucets and cold sodas. Guards ignored, just slid trays of moldy bread and water that tasted metallic. Mr. Carroll visited less now, business booming. You three are hits. Repeat clients. He said it like reviewing a hotel, clipboard notes on endurance. More sessions loomed. A group booking for all, party style. That sparked the plan. Mike's loose screw, pried from the floor over days, bloodied fingers working slow when guards napped. It was small, rusted, but could pick the simple lock on his cell door. An old mechanism, not high-tech. He whispered details through bars at night, voices low under hum of vents. Sarah would distract Tom. Tom was bait, weak as he was. Hope flickered dull, mixed with despair. Memories fueled. Mike's mom baking cookies, Sarah's first camera gift, Tom's coffee shop laughs. Worth fighting for. The escape night came unplanned during a guard shift change. Lights dimmed, footsteps faded down hall. Mike worked the screw in the lock, hands shaking, metal scraping loud in silence. Click, finally, after minutes that stretched eternal. Door creaked open. He froze, heart pounding, no alarm. Crept to Sarah's cell first, picked hers quick, practice paid. She gasped free, hugging him weak, bodies stinking of sweat and blood. Tom now, his lock stuck, rust fighting. Tom stirred, eyes glassy. Go without me. No, Mike hissed. Freed him, arm over shoulder. They moved slow, crippled steps on concrete. Bare feet cold. Hallway dim, doors to rooms. Torture ones locked, but moans inside from others. Ignored selfish survival. Stairs up, metal cold under hands. A guard room ahead, TV flickering soccer game. Two men smoking, backs turned. Sarah grabbed a loose pipe from floor, rusted heavy. Mike nodded. She swung at one's head, thud wet, man down groaning. The other turned, surprise. Tom lunged weak, tackling. Mike stabbed with screw, eye gouge, bloody. Guard screamed, fight messy. Punches landing soft on injured bodies, but desperation won. Keys snatched, baton too. Blood slicked floors, breaths ragged, up more stairs, into warehouse above. The club part, empty now. Dance floor sticky with old spills, bar bottles dust-covered. Night outside, moon faint through windows. Door out, locked, but keys worked. Fresh air hit like shock, cool pine smell from woods. Krasno outskirts, town lights distant. They ran, limped really, into trees. Branches whipped, roots tripped. Sarah fell first, ankle twisting on rock. Keep going! Tom collapsed meters later, fever winning. Can't. Leave me. Guards' voices behind. Alarms blared finally, dogs barking. Chase on Mike dragged Sarah, woods thick. Fog returned, hiding paths. Hours? Minutes blurred in panic. Found a stream, waded cold water to mask scent. Tom left eye behind, sacrifice unspoken. Gunshots echoed, bullets whizzing leaves. There, shouts. Mike's mind raced. Highway maybe, steel car. But body failed, toe infection poisoning blood, vision spotting. Sarah cried, I see road. Headlights, van coming but not rescue. Victor's, Anna driving. Betrayers hunting. Swerve into ditch, hid under brush. Van passed, slowed, searched. Close calls, dull with waiting. Bugs biting, cold seeping bones. Moved again at dawn, false light. Town edge, but locals alerted. Pitchforks literal. Faces twisted hate now. Tourist scum, one muttered. Trapped circle. Sarah stepped on trap. Bear kind? No. Hunting snare, leg snapping shut, metal teeth biting flesh. Bone cracked audible, scream piercing. Mike pulled but stuck. Dogs closed, guards too. Futile fight. Mike swung baton, connected once, skull crack. But numbers overwhelmed. Punches, kicks on wounds reopening. Sarah dragged by hair, leg trailing bloody. Back to basement, new cells deeper. Punishment wing. Tom there already, caught earlier, half dead. Carol waited, sighing theatrical. Almost exciting. Cost me guards. Extra brutal for escape, no clients. Staff vent. Mike first. Chained wall. Whips leather cracking skin open backs. Lashes counted slow. Flesh peeling strips. Salt pour, burning hell. Thoughts, why fight? Dull resignation. Sarah next. Fingers left broken, now nails pulled remaining. Pliers slow twist. Acid on scalp burns. Hair follicles dying forever. She begged end. Tom. Infected leg sawed off crude. No anesthetic. Hacksaw grinding bone. Screamed till voice gone. Shock killing slow. Day's final blurred agony. Harvest time. Organs for black market bonus. Rich need kidneys. Mike woke mid-cut, alive for pain max. Knife abdomen. Warm blood pool. Cycle continues. Carol said casual, stitching leftovers dump. Sarah last, eyes open as scalpel throat. No survivors. Bodies weighted lake, sunk deep mud. Krasno reset. Victor posted new forums. Hidden gem awaits. Marta cleaned in sheets. Anna flirted bars. Elites reviewed videos, tipped high. Exploitation satire, cheap lures for expensive deaths, world spun on. New backpackers messaged Victor. Excited deals. Fog lifted. Town quiet. Waiting eternal. No one missed the three. Postcards unsent. Phones scrapped. Horror buried, but real as stone streets. Back in Chicago, families waited, calls never came. Adventure, they said. Truth drowned silent.